them in a tank. They're a lot of fun to watch, and they also help keep down the algae. And I never get rid of the algae completely, but they certainly have a good go at it. The smaller ones tend to be better algae eaters as young, and the bigger ones they tend to get a bit too heavy after a while and slip off the grass, so to speak. It's quite easy to tell girls from boys with these guys. I mean, the male has big bristles on their face, and the girls have no bristles on their face at all. And these guys are getting ready for a feed. And things to do with bristlenose is to make sure that they have plenty of refuge, because they like to hide in rocks. They like places to go and hide. If you don't have rocks or pots and little ornaments for them to hide in, they can get a little bit bulgy. And the other thing with them is that it's not a good idea to have a small tank and have too many boys, because they will start scrapping. Very friendly yet peaceful tank mate when it comes to other fish, but them boys will take an exception to other boys, and they will definitely have a bit of a go at each other, and they'll even rip the fins. It's quite common during mating time when they decide they've got a girl, and they start wiggling their fins. That shows that they're ready. And the other boys notice this too, because they all want the girls at the same time when she's ready to lay, and they'll start to scrap. They'll scrap vigorously, and they'll rip fins. They usually don't do too much to each other. However, if you've got a very small tanks and too many males, they can actually kill each other. They have these little spines that come out the sides of their cheek called odontals, and they can inflict quite a bit of damage with that. To other males, so it's always good to keep your males down. I do have a fair few males in here, but if you've got a big tank, that won't matter so much, as long as you have a lot of refuge, a lot of different caves. As you can see in this tank, it's got quite a few rocks and caves. Now, sometimes, especially when you've got a lot of bristlenose in the tank, pretty much the same thing as large plecos, it's quite hard to keep plant. I've got some long leaf jabberfin in here, which is quite good. It's a bit harder for them to attack, and any soft plant that will is fair game for them, because they love algae, absolutely love vegetation, and in their quest for their algae and other vegetation, soft plant getting in the way, and they'll just chew it to pieces. So. Yeah, we'll eat all sorts of soft plants, and they'll just ruin it. So always get the hardier plants. I mean, that one there's a bit of crib. Cribs are quite hardy and tough, and some sword plants are actually quite good too. They're not a bad thing. Now, another thing I do in this tank is I've got water sprite on the surface here. Now, they will eat it, and they do eat this. But it grows pretty fast, so if you've got a lot of it to start with, it'll just continue growing, and even though they eat it, it just grows pretty fast and get new plants all the time off it. And it's quite a nice plant to do a bit of coverage, and of course I've got other fish in here, as you can see, and when they have little babies, they skulk around rocks, but they also go up there and they feed on that plant up there, and they're safe from the bigger fish because it's providing cover so they don't get eaten. I do tend to pull out the babies and put them in another tank, and it's the safest way to go. Now, when I was saying about the not having the bristlenose in a small tank for groups of lots of males, if you do have a small tank, there's no problem keeping groups of them in there. It's just groups of males, so if you have one male and a few females, you'll probably find that they'll be okay with that, and you'll have quite a peaceful tank. So very peaceful towards our tank mates. They will, however, if you have other fish that will try and get into their cave weird, if they've got babies, they will defend it. and they do quite a good job with that. However, if you have an overpopulation problem, you can, what does tend to put them offline is clown roaches tend to be quite pushy fish, and they like to keep pushing the boundaries in there, and that puts them off laying, and because they're always after the eggs, even though the male can defend them quite successfully from them, and are very most capable of defending themselves too when it push comes to shove. They're generally very peaceful with other fish. You don't have any problems with other fish. I've never had bristlenose ever, not once, take up a fish just out of the blue. They get a bit funny with food, as far, they'll put their whole body on it and they'll try and push other fish away from the old Pleco tabs. Now the other things that are quite good to feed them is things such as de-shelled peas. They absolutely love de-shelled peas. And cucumber, and you weight it down with something that's stainless steel and heavy, or lead weight. Nothing that can rust, because the rust will do a bit of will upset your balance in your water, and it will cause a lot of harm to your fish, because it will slowly poison the water. Nothing copper as well. You can get a bit of copper poisoning in your water. So stainless steel is pretty good. I know there's some stainless steel that the covering comes off and starts to rust, and if you get that, throw it away, get something new. You don't want to contaminate your tank in any way. But they do love cucumber. They like runner beans too. And there are such things as gelatin foods. People mix gelatin with a lot of mixed veggies, pumpkin and other things. You can find these recipes on the net quite easily, and probably on YouTube too, I'd imagine, of how you do it. However, you've got to be careful on how you do it, because you can mess your tank up and end up having to do a big clean up afterwards. Rule of thumb, if you give them cucumber or other sort of vegetables, what you can do is you put it in there. Now if they haven't eaten it within 2 days, take it out, because then it'll start spoiling in your water. So, but you'll probably find if you've got enough of them, they would eat it all. However, if you find that you've left it, that you've only got a couple of fish and they've left it there, I mean, it's quite easy for them to leave a lot of residue behind. If you've only got a couple of bristlenose and you put too much food in there and you left all the residue on there, that can happen. So just make sure you get it all up, so it's not going to start swallowing your water and you have to do another water change. But it's most likely that they would eat it all. And they're quite hungry, greedy things. And yeah, they're very, very nice sort of fish, very peaceful, happy sort of fish. Yeah, the only problem is keeping too many males, as I said. Even then, there's not really too much problems unless you're in real small spaces. And so long as you provide enough caves, there should be no problems at all, because usually, they kick them out of the territory and they chase them away and they go find another cave. Just as long as you provide plenty of caves, they'll be quite fine. You can sit there in there quite happily. It'd be a bit of a push and shove, but that's nothing, and it's not what you would count as nasty stuff. Yeah, so I hope he's got a bit of information out of this one. And you just ask me any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yeah. These are the albino Timanickies. These are young fellows. This is got quite a few in here. It's kind of overstocked. I've got quite a few heavy duty pumps and sponge filter, two heavy duty filtrations. This has got quite a few bristlenose in here, and it's basically temporary homes for them while I'm getting more room for them. So these are another nice addition. These ones are albinos. And again, we can see a male. They've got that bushy nose. And you have there. And a bit of a munch. A bit of the algae wafers all dropped in there. There's quite a few platters and guppies in there as well. This is general mix, there's nothing flash. And of course this is what happens if you plant after all. This is nebius, now it's usually quite hardy. And it's only because it's overstocked that it's been chewed to pieces like this. So the nebius is actually quite, it'll come back, and as you can see there's some new leaves starting to grow on there. And I've had to put rubber bands around it to keep it in place as it will come back. But it's a bit of an onslaught. And the other thing I forgot to mention, to keep your bristlenose healthy, it's always a must to have some bogwood or driftwood, and they need that in their diet. It helps them digest. If you do not have it in their diet, they can get stomach problems, and their stomachs can do a horrible thing where they burst. So it's really needed. So after a while it will become an absolute must, because after so long they will die. I mean, they can go months without it, but they seriously need wood in their diet, or food with a wood supplement such as JBL. The saw plants also are great for bristlenose. They will withstand a lot. They will eat the edges, and you'll find that they'll get parts in your plant where it's a bit transparent. That's pretty good. And nebius is usually okay, but not in this case, only because it's majorly overstocked. There's an awful lot of fish in here, too much for what there should be. And that's why I put extra plants and extra things, and I've had to add stuff to the water and everything. So there's a lot going on in this tank just to keep it healthy and up to date. And I've been successful at it so far, but it's an awful lot of work to stop any deaths and other sorts of horrible things happening. But it's all part of breeding, and yeah, once I find enough room it won't be as bad.